The Aurora Borealis and the Van Allen Belts by Paige. The Aurora Borealis are beautiful lights that are seen in the northern parts of our world. These lights have been one of the world's most famous attractions. Like natural wonders, there's a story behind it. The Aurora Borealis was discovered in 1883 by a man named Pierre Gassendi. He was a French philosopher, scientist, and mathematician. Pierre did not name the lights after himself, but he named them after a Roman goddess. The name of the Greek goddess was Aurora. Aurora is the Greek name for the goddess of the northern winds. Myths long ago stated that the Aurora Borealis was created by the goddess Aurora. One out of the two main things that create the Aurora Borealis is the Earth's magnetic field. This magnetic field is created by a flow of liquid iron that generates electric currents. These produce magnetic fields. Charged metals passing through these fields create electric currents of their own, and the cycle continues. This never-ending loop is known as a geodynamo. The second thing that creates the Aurora Borealis are the solar winds. These winds are a stream of charged particles, protons, and electrons that come from the sun. These electrons and protons collide with the magnetic field. These collisions create the lights of the Aurora Borealis. The Aurora Borealis is created by the reaction to the magnetic field that the outer core of our Earth creates with the rays of the sun. When the radiation collides with the magnetic field, nitrogen, oxygen, electrons, and air molecules, they vibrate and create a huge surge of electricity. That surge of electricity creates energy visible as light. The Aurora Borealis is mostly seen up in the north because of the Earth's magnetic field, which is closer to the north and south than any other part of our world. The visibility is better because you are closer to the reaction between the magnetic field and the radiation. The atmosphere consists mainly of nitrogen and oxygen, which create the different colors of the Aurora Borealis. Different forms of oxygen are responsible for its two main colors of green and red. Nitrogen causes deep blue and red hues. Also, different altitudes have an effect on the colors too. In higher altitudes, there are oxygen atoms which create different colors like pink, magenta, and purple. Lower altitudes consist of more nitrogen atoms than oxygen atoms. Because of that, colors like blue, green, and yellow are more common to see. The second topic that will be discussed in this presentation is called the Van Allen belts. These belts are unknown to some people because they are invisible. Even though the Van Allen belts are invisible, they can do very big things. The Van Allen belts were discovered in 1958 by a man named James A. Van Allen. James Van Allen was an American space scientist at the University of Iowa, and he was an astrophysicist. Also, he had a huge part in the founding of the field of magnospheric research in space. Mr. Van Allen died recently in August 2006 at the age of 91. The Van Allen belts are circular belts of highly charged particles trapped high up in the magnetic field of Earth. The belts are made up of a powerful combination of electrons and protons that surround the Earth. The inner belt is created when protons collide with cosmic rays and atoms in the atmosphere. The outer belt is mostly made up of electrons, the atmosphere, and solar wind. In 2012, scientists studying the belt think there is a possibility that there is a third belt. The third belt is said to be between the inner and outer belt. A few weeks after the third belt was discovered, it disappeared, and nobody knows why. The outer belt of the Van Allen belts are dangerous because there are more high-energy protons in the outer belt than in the inner belt. The high-energy protons are dangerous because they interfere with the magnetic field and create a harmful source of radiation that enters the Earth. The Van Allen belts and the Aurora Borealis are alike because they both are created by highly charged electrons that create radiation. In fact, without the Van Allen belts, the Aurora Borealis would not exist.
Thanks so much for watching my video. I hope you learned a lot about the Aurora Borealis and the Van Allen belts. I would also like to thank all the wonderful websites I used to gather information. I would also like to thank Mr. Closet. Thanks again.